So, the breath is the most powerful tool that we carry around with us. It's super tangible. It's presently happening now, not in the future, not in the past. So when we focus in on the breath, instantly we're pulled into what's happening right now for us. And the cool thing about the breath is that the inhale and the exhale have very different qualities. So every breath in is almost like hitting the gas pedal. It speeds things up. Our heart rate, our blood pressure, our metabolism, pretty much every system in the body speeds up as we breathe in. And the opposite to that happens on the exhale. Everything slows right down. And so we have this system that we can physically control that will either speed or slow things down, that will either pull us further into the sympathetic or further into the parasympathetic, or even find a meeting point of the two, a hybrid state through blending and playing with our breath. So we can play with the breath in numerous ways, but the most simple ways to do it are through extending or holding. So if we're using a breath count, we want to find balance in the nervous system, we could, for example, breathe in for 6 and out for 6. If we're in a heightened stress state and we want to bring the nervous system back down, we want to down regulate, we might shift that and breathe in for 4 and out for 8. So that's the first way. The second way is through adding a breath hold. So if we're in a place where we might be dissociating, we might be feeling heavy, floppy, lethargic, and we want to pep ourselves up a little, we might add a breath hold at the top of the inhale. So that could look like breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. If we want to find balance, we breathe in for 4, we hold for 4, we breathe out for 4, we hold for 4. Hopefully that makes sense. One thing to note with the breath holds is that anything other than just a micro hold is not appropriate for somebody who is pregnant or for somebody who has blood pressure or heart issues. So make sure you check in with that first. We're going to have a go at the calming breath and the balancing breath. But before we dive into that, I just want to give you a very quick micro lesson on the lungs, because it's important that we're breathing correctly as we play around with the inhale and the exhale. So something like 10% of our lung capacity is what most people are breathing into. That's not very much. We need to be able to expand that capacity if we want to truly access the kind of gifts that the breath can offer. So it's important to know that we have different segments of our lungs, and each segment of our lungs is related to a different outcome, just like inhale and exhale. So our lower lobes that sit between lower ribs and abdomen carry more parasympathetic nervous system receptors. So if we're able to breathe deeply, we can access that parasympathetic state more easily. However, you probably noticed that most people wander around breathing up here. You know, we live in a hectic world, everything moves fast, and so the more stressed we are, the more we're going to breathe into chest and collarbones. So the mid lobes of the lungs are where we want to focus if we want to find balance, and also we can encourage the breath to travel into all 3 portions of the lungs to really access like a more harmonious blended state. So let's begin by just feeling these different areas of the lungs. We'll take 3 breaths into each area, and then we'll combine those 3 lobes of lungs as we find a more balanced breath. Hopefully that makes sense. Bring your hands to your lower lobes. Your thumbs should touch your lower rib cage, and the palms of your hands should rest on your abdomen. Soft gaze or eyes closed, shoulders soft. Just take 3 slow, steady breaths for me here. And feel that area of the body expand into your hands within breath. Draw away from your hands without breath. 2 more. Smooth out that breathing. Iron out any creases. Last one. Really feeling a full 360-degree expansion in the lower lobes of your lungs. Perfect. Now bring your hands to the mid lobe, so over your chest. And this time as you breathe in, feel the chest rise. And as you breathe out, feel the chest fall. And there's a bit of expansion through the side and the back of this mid area of your rib cage as well. One more. Perfect. Then hands underneath your collarbones. Your thumbs should just graze the tops of your collarbones. Shoulders relaxed, belly relaxed. Breathing into the upper lobes. Just 3 breaths. Noticing that that might feel somewhat uncomfortable. And see if you can expand that breath under the armpits and into the tops of the shoulders too. Final one. Awesome. So now you've got an idea of where you can breathe into and out of, and that there is more than just one space in the lungs to breathe into and out of. The most healthy way of breathing is to fill your lower, then your middle, then your upper lobes, and to empty lower, middle, upper lobes. So bottom to top on inhale, bottom to top on exhale. Let's just take 3 rounds of getting our head around that, and then we'll add the count. So hands wherever feel comfortable, eyes closed or gaze soft. As you breathe in, see if you can fill abdomen, chest, collarbones. As you breathe out, empty abdomen, chest, collarbones. 2 more. Breathe in, abdomen, chest, collarbones. Empty abdomen, chest, collarbones. Last one. Perfect. Hopefully you've felt you've accessed areas of the lungs you never even knew existed there. This is a whistle-stop tour, and usually when I'm teaching this, I would have an hour's lesson on each portion of the lungs. So please know that if that all felt like a lot of information, it was. And we are short on time, so I'm trying to share with you as much wisdom as possible. But equally, I want you to breathe in the most healthy and fullest expression of your breath so that you really get a sense of how these tools work, and even just a nugget of feeling more balanced and steady. Let's play with the breath count. To begin with, balanced breath. In 4, hold 2, out 4, hold 2. We'll do 6 rounds so you have time to get into it. Hands rest wherever feels comfortable. Body as relaxed as you can be. Eyes closed or soft gaze. Let's empty the breath we're on first. So empty, 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 empty. And we'll begin on the next breath in. Breathing in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Pausing for 2. Breathing out for 4, 2, 3, 4. Pausing for 2. Breathing in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Pausing for 2. Exhaling 4. Pausing for 2. Inhale 4. Pause 2. Exhale 4. Pause 2. 3 more rounds like this on your own. knowing there's absolutely no rush to finish. When you get to the end of the next round that you're on, just pause and notice how the mind, body, the nervous system have responded to breathing this way. When you're ready, blink open the eyes and come back to the space we're in. Then we'll just take 3 rounds, extending the exhale. In for 4, out for 8. I'll count you through the first round and then 2 more rounds on your own. Eyes closed or soft gaze, empty the breath you're on. Empty, 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 empty until there's nothing left in the lungs. Then together we breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4, out, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more rounds, and really notice how you have to control that exhale. So it's a slow release of the out breath, which enables you to reach the end of the count. Steady, even tempo to your counting, smooth quality to your breath. 1 more round. This time when you finish, you can bring your hands together, generate a little bit of heat, rubbing through heels of hands all the way to tips of fingers. Gently cup the hands over the eyes and take a few really big blinks until you feel the eyes watering a little bit. Again, a signal to the nervous system that we're safe. Keeping the gaze on the palms of your hands and slowly removing hands away from the face, coming back into the space that you're in now.